Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 4-game NBA main slate here on Sunday. A couple things before I get into the video. We're now closing in on 2.3 thousand subscribers now. Seriously, thank you guys for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the channel, I'm doing a weekly giveaway where all you do is a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment though per video. We'll start with my Monday Night Showdown video that I uploaded at the beginning of the week. We'll go throughout the week under my Monday Night Showdown video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you're entering the giveaway that many times. Say if I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, you're entering the giveaway 10 times. And the winner receives a $20 PayPal for myself. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So first, let's look back to see how my lineup's doing here from Saturday. So Saturday's slate was really interesting because we had a lot of news that we were waiting on, and it was all in the late game, right? It was the Pistons game and then the Jazz game. So, there was an opportunity cost of foregoing the early value to get some of the later value that could be like amazing, right? So a guy like Tony Bradley, I talked about how he'd probably be low owned because we didn't know the stats for Gobert. But if Gobert got ruled out, Tony Bradley was like the best value play, and at min price he put up 25 fantasy points. Now that worked out for me with Bradley, not so much with Christian Wood, but that was a shot I was willing to take with no Blake Griffin. I talked about in my live stream how the minutes weren't necessarily secure for Wood, but he is a guy that can get you there in limited time. So again, that was a shot I was willing to take. Definitely not a cash game play, and I talked about how he was risky because the minutes were not guaranteed. Donovan Mitchell, one of my favorite plays in a great spot. I talked about that in my video. Drummond with no Blake. I mean, I went there. Wasn't great, but he was super high owned. Sabonis got 40 fantasy points at like 8K. He was fine. Didn't get as many minutes as I thought he would. The starters for the Pacers were getting like close to 40 minutes a game in close games. He got limited a bit there, so that is something to note. Bruce Brown, again, that was more of me kind of banking on Kennard and Derrick Rose being out. They're both in, so it wasn't the best value, but I stuck with it, and he was okay. Fred VanVleet, you guys knew he was the thumbnail of my video for a reason. One of my favorite plays. And then Zach LaVine, I talked about that Chicago-Charlotte game in my video as well as in the live stream for a game stack, right? Just everyone was super cheap. So LaVine, the guys I talked about on the Chicago side were LaVine, Wendell Carter Jr., and Markkanen. LaVine and Wendell Carter Jr. were amazing. Markkanen, not so much. Got limited for the minutes. But then the other side, Rozier and Devontae Graham were the two guys I liked on that side. They were both really good. So if you ran that game stack, you probably did pretty well. But yeah, all in all, again, there were a couple landmines here. Christian Wood, one of those Orlando guys. I think Birch was pretty disappointing. But if you avoided those two landmines, it was probably a pretty good night for you. Again, it could have been a huge night for me if Christian Wood, got me like 20 or so fantasy points, just something like that. But all in all, again, it was worth the risk, in my opinion, to go there with guys like Bradley and Wood. But yeah, like I said, $170 in the tournament. We'll take that all day, and let's see if we can keep it going here for Sunday. So, let's go to NBA. And this is, I kind of like this 4-game slate. There's a lot of, up-tempo games. Let's look at the over-unders and the spreads that we have out right now. So that Dallas-Houston game is not on the main slate, unfortunately. That's going to be a really fun game to watch. I'll probably play the showdown in that one with, obviously Doncic going up against like Harden and Westbrook. Again, that will be a very fun game to watch. It's not in the main slate, though. The two games that we have out right now for the over-unders and spreads are Nets-Knicks sitting at 211.5. That seems a little low. I think if I was a betting man, I would definitely bet the over there. And then Pelicans-Clippers at 234 with the Clippers favored by 12. So there is some blowout risk in that one. And then the two games that are not out right now are Phoenix-Denver and Sacramento-Washington. But let's start with center. And right now, Saturday night, as I'm making this video, I think Jokic is probably my preferred spend up at 9.2K. Going to be, Baines is most likely, I think he's doubtful or out already. So if Baines misses, Jokic is going to go against Kaminsky, Saric, Cheek Diallo, whoever they throw on him, he should have his way. The price is slowly creeping up, but I still think he's like a 10K player. And again, he's flashed upside in back-to-back games with 47 and 64 fantasy points. So he would be someone I am prioritizing if Aaron Baines does miss. Julius Randle here at 7.1K. I'm also intrigued by. I think he goes a bit lower owned, but it's a really good spot here against Brooklyn. And in close games, he's going to play low to mid-30s minutes. So don't mind Julius Randle. I would have liked if he was a bit cheaper, but I'm still considering him here at 7.1K. Now, the Washington bigs are a bit it's a bit hard to break down because they kind of ride at the hot hand with Thomas Bryant versus Mo Wagner off the bench. So it's a good spot, but Thomas Bryant could play 22 minutes, he could play 34 minutes. So I think that's why he's more suited just for GPPs. Montrezl Harrell, so I do like the price on him. It's a really good spot too. It's just playing alongside Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Lou Williams now, it lowers his usage. So again, I do like the price. I think he's pretty safe. I just don't know if he has like 50 fantasy point upside playing alongside those guys. Jarrett Allen, another guy that intrigues me here at 6.2K. I still think he has some upside in the price, but he's not going to play huge minutes most likely, unless like DeAndre Jordan gets in foul trouble. The Nets are comfortable giving DeAndre Jordan some decent minutes. So yeah, Jarrett Allen, kind of like Julius Randle. I'm definitely considering them, but I don't think they're like the best plays on the slate. Holmes at 6.2K. We got Bogdanovich listed as doubtful, so someone's going to have to step up in the Sacramento offense. Is it going to be Buddy Hield? Is it going to be Bjelica? Is it going to be Corey Joseph? Maybe Rashawn Holmes here. Again, he's probably going to play 25 to 30 minutes in a close game. It's a really good spot. So definitely considering him there at 6.2. Millsap at 5.9. I just think it's okay. Don't think he has huge upside. I think he's more of just a cash game play. Again, DeAndre Jordan, the Nets are comfortable giving him decent minutes, so that's the downside there with Jarrett Allen. Mitchell Robinson at 4.7K. Don't know if I want to go there. Again, he's more suited for GPP just because the minutes are all over the place with David Fizdale. Mo Wagner, kind of the same analysis there with Thomas Bryant, right? The minutes are up and down, 25, 20, 26, and 14. If he hits that high end, like mid-20s minutes, I think he's a pretty solid play, but if he gets 14 minutes like he did that last game, you can't do it. So him and Thomas Bryant, a bit risky there just because the minutes are up and down. Melly and Jackson Hayes, I think I would prefer Jackson Hayes if Okafor does miss. Jackson Hayes played 31 minutes in that last game. So again, those guys would definitely be viable if Okafor does miss once again. He was out just for Saturday, I believe. Yeah, so they haven't ruled him out yet for Sunday. But Hayes, Okafor, definitely viable here as cheap options. Bobby Portis, I don't hate at 4.2K. Not going to play huge minutes, probably like low to mid-20s. But at this price point, I think he's in consideration for GPPs. Taj Gibson wouldn't do that. Zubac, another guy that's just GPPs because the minutes are... He's never going to play huge minutes, right? Like somewhere between 15 and 20 most likely. It's a really good spot. So you just got to hope he can get you there at that time. So that's why he's more suited for GPPs. As far as like the really cheap guys, like I don't think we have to go Jeremy Grant, Plumlee. I'll probably pass in the slate. Diallo, I guess you could go there if, Baines is out. Where is Aaron Baines, actually? So he's listed at 4K. He got ruled out for Saturday, but if he comes back for this one, I would really like him at that price. So that would be something we have to monitor, and if he comes back, that would be a downgrade to Jokic. But if Baines misses, Jokic is going to go against Kaminsky and Saric. He should be able to have his way. So again, that would be something we have to monitor. Deadman, again, I don't think we have to go there in this slate, and that's really it. So let's move on to power forward. So Kawhi and Paul George at the top. It's a really good spot, but again, the downside with these Clippers guys is there's a lot of mouths to feed, right? They got Beverly, who would a little bit, Kawhi, Paul George, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, even Zubac. So again, there's a lot of mouths to feed. Kawhi, it's a really good spot, but 10K, I don't know if I want to do it. I think I would prefer Paul George for $1,500 less. I think they have similar upside, and again, you're getting a $1,500 discount. So if you're going to make me choose, I'm just going to slightly lean towards Paul George at a $1,500 discount. Now, Brandon Ingram's interesting as well here at 8.4K. I think he goes a bit lower owned, but he's just been amazing so far this year. It's a tougher matchup, probably going to have Kawhi or Paul George defense, but if the Pelicans are going to keep this game close, him and Drew Holiday are going to have big games. So he's a bit riskier. I don't know if you're playing cash games. I don't know if I would go there, but again, if the Pelicans keep this close, they're going to have a big game. I already talked about Julius Randle. He intrigues me there at 7.1K. Marcus Morris, just a black hole, right? He's going to shoot the ball a ton, a bit up and down. I think he's more suited for GPPs. Kelly Oubre at 6.6K has been really solid, but now it's a tough match against Denver, and the price is kind of up. I think he's okay, but again, probably not going to be the way that I go on this slate. I think I prefer other plays at similar prices. Now, Bertans he's priced up to 6K, but he's been really good the last 3 games, right? 32, 35, and 41 minutes, or 41 fantasy points, I should say. It's a good spot, but can you expect this level of production to continue? I don't know, right? So you're kind of paying a premium for him. It is a good spot, but I'm probably going to pass there. Now, Bielitsa is someone I would definitely consider if Bogdan misses, and it looks like Bogdan's doubtful again. So someone on the Sacramento team is going to have to step up, right? The starting lineup of Corey Joseph, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Bielitsa, and Holmes. Again, one or two of those guys are going to have a big game. It's a really good spot here against Washington, so this team definitely intrigues me. At 6K, he's definitely someone that I think does have upside at that price. Paul Millsap at 5.9. Again, I already talked about him. I think he's more suited just for cash games. Harrison Barnes, so again, it's a really good spot, but he's just not someone that has huge upside. I think he's more just suited for cash games. I think the guys I'm considering for the upside on the Kings are guys like Buddy Hield and the Bielitsa and Holmes. Let's see, Taurean Prince. The secondary Nets pieces is just really hard to trust. He's so up and down. The price is okay, but again, it's just he's so up and down. So I think he's more just suited for GPPs. Other options, Kenrich Williams, don't think we have to go there in this slate. Now, Kaminsky and Saric, if Aaron Baines does miss, I would consider them, but they are kind of spreading out the minutes. He did play 29 in that last game against Minnesota, so him and Saric are viable. I think I would slightly lean towards Kaminsky because the minutes have been a bit higher. And then, let's see, what else? JaMychal Green on this slate, probably don't have to go there. But that's really it. So let's move on to small forward. So I already talked about these three guys at the top. Again, Bogdanovich, I would love if he was playing, but it looks like he's not going to be able to go. So there's a lot of usage to go around in this Sacramento offense. Now, Buddy Hield is probably going to have to be the main guy, right? He had a disappointing game in that last game against Brooklyn in 32 minutes, only put up 23 fantasy points. But it's a really good spot. And again, I think a couple of these Kings are going to have a big game. It's a really, really good spot. I know I'll keep repeating myself, but Buddy Hield at 7.2K. I really like his upside there. Let's see, what else? JJ Redick, probably not for me. Again, I think the targets on the Pelicans would be Drew and Ingram on the high side, and then the low side, like Lonzo and the two bigs. Will Barton at 5.8K. Don't mind him here. The price is dropping, and he's going to play 35 or so minutes in a close game. So he's someone I'm definitely considering there in the mid-range. And the secondary Brooklyn pieces are just, they're so up and down, like Harris, Prince, Temple. I just don't know if we have to go there in this slate. Let's see, what else? Troy Brown Jr. is listed as questionable. If he misses, maybe CJ Miles or like Jordan McRae pick up a few more minutes. So Justin James, this is someone I got to talk about because with Bogdan out, I thought the minutes would go to Yogi Ferrell. They didn't. They went to Justin James. Now, I don't know if we can expect that again, but with no Bogdan, there's a lot of minutes and usage to go around. So if Justin James is going to get like 25 to 30 minutes, I think he's a value guy you have to consider here. So a little unknown, a little risky, but at 3.4K, doesn't have to do a whole lot to get you there. Other options, that's probably it. So let's move on to shooting guard. Beal at the top at 10.2. It's a good spot here, and he's just playing huge minutes. I played 42 in that last game against Charlotte. He's shooting the ball a ton, right? 22, 26, 24, 19 times. So Beal, another spot up I do really like. And this game, it should be a pretty high over-under. So definitely considering Beal there at 10.2. Devin Booker at 8.3. I think I would only go there if Rubio misses. Still, it's a bad spot here against Denver, but if Phoenix is going to keep this close, Devin Booker's probably going to have a big game. So he's someone more suited for GPPs just because, the tough matchup, and he's kind of been a bit up and down. Drew Holiday, again, him and Ingram, I think are more suited for GPPs as well because it is a tougher spot, but if the game stays close, one or even both those guys are going to probably have a big game. Dinwiddie, I still like the price here at 7.7K with no Kyrie Irving. The game against Sacramento blew out in 28 minutes, still put up 36 fantasy points. So in a close game, he's going to play 35 or so minutes. And again, the Knicks defense, not the best. So I think he's very, very much playable still here at 7.7K. Jamal Murray at 7.3K is a guy that, does have the upside, but I don't know how many Denver pieces I want in a potential blowout. So I think I would slightly lean towards Jokic for a bit more, but don't hate Jamal Murray. Again, we know the upside is there. Let's see. So Lou Williams, the issue with these Clippers guys is just there's so many mouths to feed. It's a really good spot though. So I think my preferred target in the Clippers probably would be Paul George, but Lou Williams and Montrez are still viable at their prices. Again, you just got to hope the Pelicans keep that game close because it is sitting at, what, a 12-point spread. RJ Barrett's just okay on this slate, though. Don't know if I have to go there. Again, the secondary Brooklyn pieces I'll probably pass. Now, Corey Joseph at 4.9K is a pretty interesting play. In the game against Brooklyn, it blew out, and he got in foul trouble. Only played 23 minutes. Still put up 18 fantasy points. The game before that, played 39 minutes, got 38 fantasy points. Again, this is a really, really good spot here against Washington. So a couple of those Sacramento guys, if the game stays close, are going to have a big game. So Corey Joseph, Buddy Hield, Bielitsa, Rashawn Holmes, very, very much considering. Again, 4.9K is a pretty cheap, and I think he probably plays 35 or so minutes in a close game. So I do like Corey Joseph a decent amount there. Ntilikina had a big game, but had 6 steals. I just don't think we have to go there on this slate. Tyler Johnson would be someone I would look to if Rubio misses once again. He's played 29 and 31 minutes in back-to-back games. Has had bad shooting nights, 2 of 7 and 2 of 10, but still putting up decent outings. So even in a tough spot, I would consider him there if Rubio does miss. Other options like Gary Harris have been really bad. He's going to play like 35 minutes in a close game, but he's been really bad. Don't hate him, just I don't think he has huge upside. Mikal Bridges will probably pass. Now, Yogi Ferrell, again, I really thought those minutes would go to him that last game. They went to Justin James. But, if Corey Joseph maybe misses, then you could look to Yogi Ferrell. So I think he's more suited for GPPs because the minutes are all over the place. I think that's really it for shooting guard. So let's move on to point guard. Let's see. Again, Booker and Holiday I think are more suited for GPPs. Dinwiddie I like a good amount there at that price. Already talked about a lot of these guys, actually. Rubio, again, this is the big question mark. If he misses, we could look to Tyler Johnson and Devin Booker. Devin Booker more for GPPs again. If Rubio plays at this price, I would really like him. I know it's a tough spot, but 5.4K is really cheap. So this will be something we have to monitor going into tomorrow. Lonzo Ball, also another play I kind of like. Played decent minutes in that last game, and the price at 5K is pretty appealing. Now, if he starts, I would have a lot more interest in him. Or if the minutes limit goes up to like 30, then I have a lot more interest in him. So, again, this will be something we will have to monitor going into tomorrow, what the minutes limit's going to be like for Lonzo, or maybe if he starts. Isaiah Thomas at 4.9K, kind of like this. I know the minutes have been a little bit all over the place, right? 24, 29, 24, 21. It's a good spot, though, and a pretty low price tag. So, don't mind buying low on Isaiah. It's just the minutes are a bit up and down. Let's see. Dennis Smith Jr., again, he's not playing huge minutes. It's worth a dart throw because if he's playing well, they will give him minutes, but you just can't do it for cash games. And that's basically it. So again, if I'm prioritizing spend-ups on this slate, I think Jokic would probably be my number one. I kind of like Paul George there in the mid-tier. There are some risky, more GPP options, but Dinwiddie I like at that price. A couple of Sacramento guys are pretty appealing. Buddy Hield at 7.2K, Corey Joseph. So this slate, again, is pretty interesting. There's 3 games that are pretty fast-paced. This Phoenix-Denver game is probably going to be played at a slow pace, but yeah, that's basically all I got. So thanks again for coming to check out the video, guys. I really do appreciate it. Again, if it's important to check out the live stream. I'll probably be live streaming, since it's a 4-game slate, 30 minutes before lock. It's also important to follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. I'll give my thoughts as we get news throughout the day. But that's basically it. So thanks again for coming to check out the video, guys, and I will see you later.